the overall mission is for DEMU to create tools that empower musicians and record labels to directly manage their music business. That's the big vision. For the fans, what we offer is a direct relationship with the artists that they support, right through these same tools. That they know that when they press play or when they buy music, that they are directly supporting the artist. And so that's like the overall arching goal of DEMU, just I guess to make those relationships stronger.
Oh, what is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, breaking down all the latest news and updates here on Cardano. As a part of today's video, I've got an amazing guest, Session Cruz, joining me to talk and break down everything going on with the DEMU Protocol. Session, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Just coming back from Rare Evo, where I got to shake your hand as well as Vivek, who actually put us together in connection. And I'm excited to hear about what you guys have recently just launched last night. So, how was, I guess, your Rare Evo, and how are you doing after such an eventful weekend?
Rare Evo was awesome. I like that it was real intimate. A lot of builders in the space that we got to really connect meaningfully with, and have good conversations with. And yeah, it's always a good time. I really enjoyed it. Uh, but yeah, it's been nonstop. We launched the DEMU. We did a soft launch, like a stealth launch at Rare Evo, and then made a I guess a main launch, or actual launch yesterday. So it's been nonstop. Just go go go.
No, understood. And I can definitely relate as a content creator. I felt like the entire time was just running up and down, the convention center, the main stage, and then some of the breakout sessions. So I'm looking forward to NFT LV. Will you be there as well?
Maybe, but there are two different kind of conferences. That one's more focused on like NFT projects, and that's cool. But I like the Rare Evo one. Like if I have to choose, which my budget doesn't allow me to have both, I like the Rare Evo one better because it's more for builders, I feel.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Well, interesting takes there. Again, it's a pleasure meeting you in person. And without any
Mhm.
further ado, let's jump into DEMU. So let's kick this interview off just by you potentially giving us a little bit of your background, how you came into the space. And then do you mind just briefly touching on what DEMU is and what it's aiming to do for Cardano?
Yeah. So, well, my background, I used to be a recording artist, signed to a record label. I Back in a time when the internet was transforming the music industry. So I've been in that awkward phase where people didn't really understand the technology and we're trying to use it, trying to figure out how to use it. So I've kind of seen this movie before. And then I went on to work behind the scenes in music. Most notably, I worked for World Star for a bit under the founder. I started my own casting agency, and that led me to work with Kanye, Kim Kardashian, Drake, a lot of big names. With starting with casting music videos and ending up with influencer marketing. So yeah, I've done a lot of cool stuff in music for sure. And then how I ended up in Cardano is, COVID kind of killed that, right? Killed that business, slowed it down anyway, and it gave me the space to learn something new. And I'd always been curious about blockchain because, like I said, I was an early adopter of the internet, and here this blockchain thing was intimidating, and I was like, I wasn't gonna. I looked at myself in the mirror like, "You're not gonna let this intimidate you," and I learned it, and I realized, oh wow, this technology can now help the music industry, and that's when DEMU was born. Actually, 2 years this month.
Congratulations on that pretty big milestone. I know for myself, I was in a very similar situation, really trying to understand what blockchain brought aside from obviously, the price gains, trying to really understand how does it solve some of the problems that we have now. And after having been in the space for just about the same time as, DEMU's been alive, quote unquote, I'm also now coming across and really understanding and trying to preach to others all the additional benefits aside from just, again, the money go up or the price go up aspect. And so I think
Mhm.
it's a really amazing space. Obviously, we're all super early here. And I think, again, what you're doing with respect to DEMU is really going to be beneficial for music and content creators moving forward. So
Mhm.
on that note, DEMU, excuse me, is going to be a music's right protocol. Do you mind touching on what it enables for music artists as well as music consumers to do here on the blockchain?
Yeah, so I mean, the overall mission is for DEMU to create tools that empower musicians and record labels to directly manage their music business. That's the big vision. For the fans, what we offer is a direct relationship with the artists that they support, right through these same tools. That they know that when they press play or when they buy music, that they are directly supporting the artist. And so that's like the overall arching goal of DEMU, just I guess to make those relationships stronger.
Got it. So this platform, if I'm not mistaken, will house artists, right, who create the music, but it's
Mhm.
also going to have a way for consumers to also come in and purchase music. Is that correct?
Correct. Exactly. Well, what we're speaking about, because there's two different products, right? And at first, as I tried to decouple these two things, it's almost like an animal cell going through my toes, like splitting in half. Like, it became clear that it's two different things, two different products. What we're talking about is the DEMU Jukebox, and the Jukebox is basically, I like to say, is a B2C app, right? With the artists and the record labels being the B, right? The business, and the fans being the C. And it's basically, it's like Shopify, but for musicians, right? Where artists can become their own bank, streaming platform, and record store all in one. And but for the fan, again, it's gamifying the experience of being a fan, where they're rewarded for their engagement, for their purchases, and really recognized through a leaderboard product that we want to create that tracks, because we all know that the transparency of the blockchain means that I can see every single person who buys my token. All right, we're establishing this new music format, this music token, that it basically works like an album. And so when I, the fan, buy this album, that's a music token, that I, the artist, can now see that you hold my album. And so now I can have a direct relationship with that fan. And then I even want to sort it with these gamifying mechanics, so that you can track plays and engage all kinds of engagement. And so you can sort this leaderboard from super fan to casual fan, and reward fans for their engagement. And I think that deeper relationship will, I mean, I know as an artist myself, if I had this list of customers that we're going to be best friends, right? If I knew who was buying my music and who was supporting me, we're going to be besties. And I think for a fan, that's pretty cool. I mean, because right now these these Web2 companies, they're just data fortresses that turn the fan into a faceless number, right? The artists don't even know who their supporters are. And so that's what I'm really excited about the new jukebox is to kind of enrich that relationship between artist and the fan, and really to have the artist run their own music business.
I want to jump into the benefits here for the artists here in just a minute. But what you just mentioned there with respect to the audience and them really gaining a stronger relationship with their favorite artist, I can definitely relate to, right? So I'm not in the music business, of course, but I do content creation and I understand how important it is to have a really strong relationship with my viewers, right? And so, with respect to that, I can completely get behind the mission that DEMU is trying to do by allowing the consumer of the artist's music to really feel connected to that artist, right? And then, like you mentioned, on the flip side, allowing for more transparency from the artist viewpoint to actually see who is consuming their content. And then that probably gives them more insight as to how to better cater to the people that they know are actually consuming their content. So you guys just launched the DEMU Music Jukebox, and this was a pretty big thing that you're working on for quite a bit of time. I spoke with Vivek earlier, and he mentioned, how much time, blood, effort, and sweat you guys have put into this platform. How did this come to be, and what is your future vision, and how do you see this platform actually being used?
I mean, it came to be from research, right? Learning. I mean, the kernel of the idea was, that 0.003 cents that Spotify or any streaming service pays on average to the artist can now be powered by blockchain, right? I can pay that like I can swipe my credit card and pay for something online, right? And I thought that was pretty game changing. Obviously, our tech is not quite there yet, right? We need Hydra for that, but still, that was the kernel of the idea, and then from there it grew into a protocol, which is really what the bigger vision is. What the roadmap is the jukebox is just the first step on our roadmap, right? Like I said, that the jukebox was like B2C. Well, then the protocol is B2B, right? Where artists can, I believe that with this core value proposition that artists can sell music and have a direct relationship with their fans, that will grow a database of songs, right? With built-in instructions within each song for paying royalties, because that's what, even on the jukebox, that's what it does. When I buy music, that purchase gets auto distributed to the collaborators of the song. That's really the protocol at work already, and that's the second product, and really the main thing. The royalty settlement layer of the music business, said more succinctly, right? And the DEMU Jukebox becomes just a single app built on top of this royalty settlement layer, and we hope to kickstart an ecosystem of other apps built on top of it, where they have access to that growing database of licensable content that is first attracted to DEMU by the jukebox, but then made available to all the other music apps built first in Web3. So your Project Nooms, your Sound Rig, even cross-chain, your Sound XYZ, your Royal.io, and then eventually even Web2, Spotify and Tidal, that they can also plug into this protocol, the music rights protocol, with the administrative burden of paying millions of artists their royalties already solved for them, right? That's really the big vision. This DEMU protocol is like, we're a protocol like the internet is a protocol. And just like Facebook, Twitter, and Google are built on the internet protocol, we hope that these apps are built on our music protocol or our music internet.
I really like that illustration, right? Like you just mentioned with the internet and everything being built on top of that. You guys want to be that foundation to the music industry where people can come in and, again, have both parties on both ends feel like they're getting what they want and that they're getting a fair play when it comes to the consumer purchasing music, and then the artist feeling like they're actually getting the for the content that they're putting out. Now, I want to walk through both scenarios, right? Let's say that I'm an artist. Take me through what I need to do to be listed on the jukebox and exactly how that process works, from the actual recording of the music, uploading it. And then I believe there's a way to embed the actual jukebox player into different platforms. Can you maybe touch on how that works?
Yeah. So the creation is on you. Like we don't help you create the music. Although that's the mouthful. Next. So I have an issue of just being super transparent because I'm so excited about this stuff. Anyway, so basically, when you have the music ready, you would just basically attribute all collaborators, put your wallet, link your wallets, and set the splits, and then upload the music. And basically a smart contract is created with the instructions for how to pay royalties on that music already embedded in there. And so again, we start with the jukebox, but then that smart contract directory of music is made available eventually to all the other apps that would want to license the music for whatever their business model or use case is, right? And again, with the artist at the center, right, managing the revenue generating generation of their IP, both on the business to consumer side and the business to business side. I forgot the third part of your question.
No, so I think that touches on how the artist comes into this platform. How about the consumer now? What does it look like on their end? Is it just as simple as getting access to the jukebox and then just purchasing music? What does that flow look like when it comes to actually getting the content from the artist?
Yeah, definitely. So for our first user-facing experience or app is the jukebox, right? And it's just as simple as getting a wallet, connecting to the website, and playing the music or buying the music. And I remember the question you asked about the embeddable piece. That's the next phase in our development of our jukebox. Right now, we just have a core MVP, but we really want to make it so that every artist is their own platform. So that music player will be embeddable on their own web page, so that artists are funneling traffic to their own home, to their own website, instead of some third-party application, right? They're not funneling their hard-earned fans to Spotify or this or that company. They're funneling them to their funneling fans to their own website and transacting directly with them. So that's the vision there. As far as the user experience for the fan on other applications, that's up to them, right? That's up to how those applications will craft that front-facing user experience for the fan. And I can imagine sync licensing applications, music metaverses, AI applications, NFT marketplaces, music streaming marketplace, all kinds of apps built. And all we care about is that the artists, for those B2B businesses, that the artists are paid royalties for revenues generated on those applications. But it'll be up to those applications to deliver a user experience that makes the fans want to come back, or the market will decide which apps to use and which ones not to, right?
Got it. Thank you for that. And this kind of spurs a question that I have. So I see the jukebox here. If I'm a consumer, right, and my favorite artist is posted on the jukebox, I can come here. As you mentioned, I can choose my wallet there at the very top, and then I can connect my wallet, and then I can make a direct purchase. Now, if I want to embed the player on a website, and let's say I'm an artist, does that also allow for people to purchase the track wherever I'm embedding that, or does that allow for me to play the music at free of charge, I guess, essentially, right? I'm trying to better understand, if I'm embedding this somewhere else without the actual consumer having to come to the jukebox to make the purchase, how does the revenue come to the creator from that standpoint?
Yeah, good question, man. So the jukebox, it'll be the whole marketplace that is embeddable. So artists will basically be able to have their music player embedded on their website, and feature their music right on the website as well. So it'd be like different, I guess, widgets or modules on the website. So you'll have the player, you'll be able to sell your albums, you'll be able to offer tickets eventually, like right in this Shopify concept, offer tickets, merch, etc., all from your own home, and directly transact with your fans. So that's kind of how we're seeing it. And so when you connect the wallet, so the music player is connected, no matter, it's like a client, right? It's a web client that connects to the repository of music that is sitting on what we envision a peer-to-peer network, a decentralized content storage layer, where the music sits and is served by node operators, right? Like stake pool operators, right? Who have spare computing power to serve that content to the end user. So it doesn't matter where you play the music from, because it just all points to the same peer-to-peer network. It's like downloading Napster or LimeWire back in the day. I actually, in fact, sometimes compare this to LimeWire plus blockchain, the token-gated LimeWire. All right, you have to buy the music token to gain access to the music to download in this web client, the jukebox. So it travels with you too. So,
got it.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually going to be. Sorry, that was going to be my next question. So whenever I make a purchase from the jukebox, do I actually get an NFT or a token within my wallet? And then is that something that I can also resell on an open or secondary marketplace?
100%. Exactly. And we're a little bit more about this music token. We seek to establish a new music format, right? CDs, cassettes, vinyl. These are examples of old music formats. And so the music token is what we want to introduce to the music industry as the new music format. It works like a CD, right? You put the CD into the radio, or you connect your wallet into the jukebox, and it'll authenticate that you own the music, right, through this music token, and acts like a key or a password to the music. And then you just play the music, right? And just like any NFT, you can trade it. What makes it different is that there is no IPFS link. Music NFTs today, and that is across all chains, even this one, they're forced to be positioned as a collectible because the IPFS link in the NFT means that it's a public, it's public. It means anybody can play the music for free. And so it forces this positioning of making the music NFT arbitrarily rare, right, or a collectible, and therefore costs more money, $50, $100. I just don't think that's something that's going to ever happen on the mainstream. So by positioning this as a music token, like a new music format instead, like a CD back in the day, now artists can sell millions of these. And so that's why it was necessary to create our own decentralized content storage layer that the music sits in, and the music token, without the IPFS link in it, just acts like a key to it. And so now, that token itself is tradable, but you need the jukebox or a music player, a DEMU connected music player, because anyone can build their own music player that reads that token and plays the music.
Interesting piece of tech that you just mentioned there. I didn't realize you guys have your own storage platform or your own storage layer. Again, with what you just mentioned, taking out some of this, I don't want to say traditional storage, but really making this as simple as possible, and also making sure that it's not abusable, like you said, with IPFS.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you guys just recently launched the jukebox itself. We're looking at it now. There's the DEMU Classics. There's also a few different artists here. Do you mind touching on how you guys are acquiring artists and what kind of process they need to go through in order to be listed on a platform like the jukebox?
Okay. Yeah. Some of them are Cardano community members, right? Young Man Winter is James from Gimbal Labs, actually, and he delivers intense value to Cardano. So is Mosey. And then other artists like Substantial and GMS are artists that I've known through my previous life as an artist. And then Viper Records, through my contacts in the music industry, we were able to get Cormega is an artist, a New York City street legend, actually signed to Viper Records. So Viper Records is the first record label exploring that they're already exploring Web3, so they're the first ones that we were able to get on DEMU to offer their music in this way. So a little bit of everything, and the process for now for onboarding artists is it's a manual process because we don't even actually have the tools built so that artists can onboard themselves, because that's the vision, right? We don't want to be a centralized entity gatekeeping anyone, but for now we kind of have to be, because we don't have the KYC component, right? We can't let any Tom, Dick, and Harry be able to upload Jay-Z and monetize it, right? So we need to kind of police it at first. But once we build those tools, the KYC primarily, we can start to allow artists to upload their own music and be held responsible for the content that they put up.
Thank you for
So for
that.
now, is a manual process.
Yep, no, that makes sense. You guys are still nurturing the platform. It's just getting on its feet, and you want to make sure that people don't abuse the platform before it's actually ready for prime time, right? So I think to that end, that makes sense. One thing I want to kind of pose to you is what you just mentioned there with respect to copyright and people trying to take advantage by not posting things that are of their own. So for example, on YouTube, if I upload a piece of content and I'm actually using somebody else's music, they're able to scan the video in order to identify that I'm actually using copyrighted music. Is something like that in the works, or at least in the idea stage for a platform like DEMU? Because again, I could definitely see copyright infringement and people just taking other people's work and trying to monetize it on a platform like DEMU.
Definitely. In fact, there's one thing that I'm really excited about. It's called audio steganography, and it's just basically an invisible digital ink, right? That inside the song, and it's updatable too, so you can track. You're not going to ever stamp out piracy completely, but you can basically track which node operator served the content, and then which end user played the music. And so if that song ever goes out into the wild, you can check through the digital fingerprint how that music came to be and hold those people responsible for it.
Got it. I'm really happy to hear that you guys are thinking that far down the line, because one thing that I've learned within crypto is anything that the crypto community gets, half of the people will use it for the right thing. And then you always have the other half of the people that are looking to just take advantage of it, right? So I think you have to plan out, even though we assume that everybody has good intentions, you always have to plan out for the worst case scenario, because that is inevitable. People will try to take advantage of the platform. Now, we are going to be going ahead and getting to about the 30-minute mark. So I want to go ahead and wrap things up. I've got two quick questions. The next question is, surround you foresee the DEMU protocol as well as the jukebox having on not only Cardano, but blockchain and music in the industry as a whole. So where do you see a platform like DEMU and the jukebox taking this entire industry?
I mean, I want to update, like I said, I want to update the entire royalty settlement layer for music, right? Right now, it's just a hodgepodge of different intermediaries across the different jurisdictions of the world for the different types of royalties that there are. And it just becomes a tangled ball of yarn. And it results in hundreds of millions of dollars in royalty payments, unpaid royalty payments. And so, so with this DEMU protocol, we want to clean that up, to update it completely. Every single app that is built on top, even the Web3 ones, just add another block on top of the teetering Jenga tower that is royalty payments today. And so by just knocking that down and starting all over, we can kind of clean that up. And that's kind of the vision, is just to really be fintech for the music industry.
Understood. Really, what I at least am getting from this is you guys are trying to level the playing field again for the artists who right now do seem to be somewhat shortcutted on the
Mhm.
mainstream applications and some of the mainstream streaming platforms, which us as consumers, or at least myself as a consumer, because I'm obviously not a music creator, I take that for granted sometimes, right? I'm just like, hey, I can jump on X, Y, and Z application. The music is there, but the actual royalties and the payments, that doesn't cross my mind. Whereas on the content creator side, that's probably the first thing at the top of their mind, is making sure that they're getting a fair cut on something that they've probably spent hours, putting together for me to enjoy in a passive state. So I can completely again get behind that mission. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also I'll add that it is this tangled ball of yarn that is royalty settlement that results in unfair treatment of artists, because that's where the executives or the music professionals take advantage of this obfuscation. So by cleaning that up, I believe it will result in fairer deals, or at the very least, artists will better be able to better negotiate those deals.
That's exactly what we need. A way to level the playing field for all involved, right?
Mhm.
So, last question here. If somebody's interested in DEMU, the protocol, getting access to the jukebox, how can they get in touch with you and your community?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the Discord heavy. So check out on our Twitter. We have a link there. So our Twitter is DEMU Pro. I'm at DEMU Pro. I still call it Twitter and not X. I'm just never going to get used to that. But there's a there's a Discord link there, and that's the best way to reach us. Yeah.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Session Cruz here, the founder protocol, who has just launched the DEMU Jukebox. If you guys want to find out more about that, go ahead and check out the links down below in today's video. As always, if you guys enjoyed this wonderful chat breaking down everything the DEMU team is bringing to Cardano, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the Dapp Central YouTube channel and you guys want more content like this surrounding all the builders pushing this ecosystem forward, consider subscribing. And if you guys have any questions for myself or Session the man himself, right, surrounding DEMU, go ahead and make sure to leave those down below in the comment section. That said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys in the next video.